Hello, my fellow writers. My name is Laura, and welcome to Learn to Writer. We have an exciting interview today with my friends Marie and Jess. They have agreed to give me some of their very valuable time and sit down and talk with me.
Anything for you.
Yeah, and you notice this is not my normal taping spot. I am actually on a ship in the Pacific Ocean right now. It's very exciting. So we are all here on a cruise, enjoying writing and now having an interview and talking. So yay.
Yay.
Okay, so question the first. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. And you can decide who goes first, or you can introduce each other.
Do you want to arm wrestle?
I like introducing each other. I don't think we've been asked to do that before.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So this is the wonderful Marie Parks. She is my co-author and just an incredible writer and human. So we are co-authors for a book series called The Grigori Cycle, and our background, I'm introducing us more than just you, but our background is, we also used to run a business together, and so we've been writing together for probably 15 years?
At least
15 years. And so Marie, when it comes to writing, is the person that I turn to when I need help with voice, when I need help with character, and when I need someone to tell me to get out of my head. She's very good at all of those things when it comes to writing.
It's always good to have
Yes.
someone to get you out of your head.
I honestly don't know how I could write without her. Whenever I try to do my solo writing, I'm like, but where's my little Marie on my shoulder telling me how to do this? So, that's Marie.
So, I also have a Jess on my shoulder. So this is Jess Honard. Jess is, my dearest friend and amazing co-author. And we, not only have we been writing like for things for public consumption forever, but we've also been just like dabbling in our own written worlds and like written role plays and things like that for ever since we met on an Animorphs forum.
Animorphs?
Yeah, Animorphs forum. But yeah, and so
not dating ourselves at all.
It's a deep cut.
they're putting new covers out. We're basically
They just announced it yesterday.
Yes.
So excited.
Yes.
Like, is it like a year anniversary of some variety? Or are they
Oh, actually, it is.
Oh, you're
It's
right.
30th.
You're
Is
right.
it?
Oh,
Okay.
Which is
That
Wow!
really conscious of my gray hair.
I didn't read these as I was, growing up or
Yeah,
anything.
no. But yeah, so and so our debut novel came out in 2022. We it's called Unrelenting. I mean, you said that.
No,
can't
I said the
remember.
series title. I did not say the book title. So
All right.
Thank you.
And the sequel, Undeniable, October 2025. So we're small press published authors, and Jess is amazing at making you want to turn the page. Like the pacing and tension ratcheting and making sure that like stakes are there, motivation is there, all of that is a Jess special. And they're also really good at keeping me from being too purple in my prose. I'll be like, and also dream sequences. I don't really dream, and Jess dreams a lot. And so
It's actually really fun to watch her try to write a dream sequence. It's one of my favorite things to be like, is that what you think that is?
I'm like, this is what it kind of looks like in Hollywood. I don't know.
I feel like dream sequences in books are really not all that realistic anyway.
Sure.
So but
They don't
not
have it
having
often.
experience with it makes it a little more difficult.
It's a niche,
Yeah.
expertise you have that you are capable of dreaming with some regularity. But anyway, yeah. So yeah,
That's us.
that's us.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah.
I love that. I know more about you guys now than I knew.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize we hadn't told you about the Animorphs thing.
I mean, if it just happened like yesterday, like I feel like we need to put this on the Discord though. Everybody
Right.
can like.
It was in 2009.
That we first met over Animorphs,
Yeah.
yes. But the cover announcement just came out yesterday.
Oh yeah, for the new
Yeah.
book. Yeah. Sorry, I was really hung up on Animorphs. That's
Same.
I would
usually all I want to talk
had
about.
the special hardcover like when they had the Prince guy and the all the
Bajir
Yeah.
Chronicles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Visser, yeah.
all that good stuff.
Anyway, sorry.
We're turning this into an Animorphs podcast.
Yes, this is actually one of my questions.
Oh.
What are some of your favorite pieces of media and how have they influenced your writing?
Ooh,
So like
okay.
getting you guys together in the
Okay.
first place.
Hyperventilation. So this is a whole can of worms.
That's-
Yeah. Wait, how long do we have?
Yeah.
We have dinner at 7:45.
All right. Okay. We've got like almost 4 hours.
We could probably get halfway into this. Yeah.
So, okay, Animorphs, obviously, starting there.
Yeah.
So the really interesting thing about this series to me, and also Marie, I can speak for her
Yeah.
in this capacity,
Yes.
is so it came out in the mid-90s, right? Like 1996 it started publishing. And this was right around the same era as like Goosebumps and things like that. So a lot of like hyper serialized
Babysitter's Club.
yeah, like hyper serialized fiction where you had to put a lot out very quickly, like once a month.
It was crazy how fast those books
Yeah,
came out.
like
all those series.
Being
One
a
month.
writer now, I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Ghostwriters.
Ghostwriters is the answer.
Yeah.
At least at some point.
Yeah.
But the first 20-some, it was all them, and not sleeping, I presume. But so the interesting thing that Animorphs brought to the table that was not really happening as much in these other books was most of the other series that were doing this, each book could kind of stand by itself. It's like if you pick up Goosebumps number
Okay,
36,
yeah, definitely Goosebumps.
you don't need to
yeah.
read 1 through 35.
And Boxcar Children and
Yeah. And, like,
that's a little older. but
There's a little
still.
continuity in characters
Yeah.
for some of them, like Babysitter's Club, it's more or less the same
Yeah.
characters throughout, but like, you don't really have to read them in order, and like very much like a lot of TV in the 90s, the show the series kind of resets after every book.
Yeah.
You're kind of starting a new problem, characters don't really have a lot of growth, things like that.
Full House, we love you, but
Right, yeah. Animorphs, absolutely not.
It is the Deep Space Nine to the next gen.
Yeah.
Which I love both. But yeah.
It is, the story 100% builds on itself
Yeah.
from book to book. You follow the characters, which means because it's a much longer period of time, you're able to follow actual like full character arcs that go longer than a 25,000 word-ish single book. And the topics are bleak. Like it is dark.
Animorphs was it was a very serious like.
Yeah.
It was serious, but at the same time so absurd,
Yeah.
and it's still like, and then also we have to juggle this with high school drama, so it does have that like levity. It honestly reminds me a lot of like Stranger Things, because it's like, it's dark, but also it's still about like kids being kids, in a way,
Yeah, and I think it really slid under the radar in the 90s. I feel like sometimes I question. I'm like, did Scholastic read these
No,
before they put them on the
absolutely not.
shelves? And I think the answer is probably not,
No.
because
Yeah.
they put these pretty covers on them that like were like really like cool, like with the flip book thing
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so it's just like, oh, this is another cool series. And then you open it up and it's a story about war, and it's a story about grief and growth and shades of gray. And by like book 3, there's a person who's contemplating like dying by suicide and like all of these really heavy topics. And then on the back it says, for grades 5.
I'm not sure I ever looked at that, but I don't doubt that that's what it said. Yes.
So it's like for 10-year-olds.
But I think there's something to be learned from that, right? Which is like, trust that young readers can handle hard things. And I don't know, I mean, maybe we shouldn't have been, but I don't know, I think like a lot of the great children's literature that I still think of really fondly and think back to all the time does deal with really heavy stuff. And I think that's powerful. So
It's also a very queer series.
yes.
I don't think the authors, it's written by Kay Applegate, which is a husband-wife team actually, that's the name they publish under. They are very, very active in the queer community. They have queer children, and they're the heroes you want to meet. They're very cool people. I don't think they set out to write a queer story, but there's so much queer coding in it
I
that
was
like
about to say, I didn't remember there being.
it's not overt, but
Yeah.
just this idea of transformation that's baked into. So for people who are listening, who are like, okay, this sounds great, but what is the actual plot? What is
about
plot? What is it about? So the basic premise of the story is aliens are invading the planet. No one can tell who these aliens are because it's an invasion of the body snatchers type thing where they take over the bodies of other people, look and act exactly like those people. So anyone could be your enemy. And the weapon that they're given to fight, these 5 kids are given to fight with, is the ability to turn into animals. And so there's this whole transformation morphine aspect of it that was very picked up by the trans community. And then later books are queer coded in other ways as well.
Mm-hmm. We better stop us here because we could go on. We'll dive into that.
No, I love that because like, you know, having media and obviously yours is books. I have a lot of TV series that you know, I have picked up and carried into my writing, but I love hearing about what people's like their main things are for.
I think real quickly, just going back to something Marie said, which is echoing something one of the authors said, Michael Grant, the husband and the husband-wife duo, about trusting your readers.
Mm-hmm.
He has he also writes YA that is also very dark. Like when you read the books, there's like the cute animal stuff. That's Catherine Applegate.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the gory macabre stuff. That's
Someone's
Michael Grant.
entrails are falling out.
Yeah, so like, there is a clear divide in interests. And post Animorphs, Michael Grant went on to write a lot of like younger YA. That kind of, those darker themes kind of carry throughout everything he's written, and he has said multiple times, like, I don't pull punches with my readers because I trust them. Mm-hmm. And that's a lesson that I've very much taken into my own writing, is like trusting myself too, to not like, to know where the line is, but also trusting my readers that like, I don't have to decide for them what's appropriate for them.
Mm-hmm. And it's, you know, it's better to run into it in a book that cares, you know, like you're trying to.
Yeah. Like I'm not trying to traumatize.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that is not the goal here.
This is part of life, and this is part of the story and all that kind of stuff. So. Okay, where am I? We like jumped over. It's fine.
We totally derailed.
No, it was perfect. I was like, it goes into what I already had.
Good.
Okay. So what are you working on right now? Because you said you have your book published, you've got the next one coming out, I guess it's next month from where we are now, and then you're working on the third one? Yes? Okay.
So the third one, we're maybe, I don't know, 10 to 15%
Yeah,
into it or so.
Mhm.
Jury's out on how easy or hard this one will be to write. Every book is like stumbling around in the dark. But that's because we're pantsers.
Yeah, pantsers.
Woo! It's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have solo projects we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And those are in various stages. I'm kind of at the very beginning of those, and you're deeper in.
I'm deeper into the zero draft, so it sort of feels like every time I open it up, I'm still at blank page. It's kind of at that point of pantsing, but I think that's also just a product of we've been so deep into this trilogy that I am, like when I have little blocks of time where I'm working on solo things, like this cruise that we're on, it's sort of like pulling it out of the closet and being like, what was on this, in this manuscript? So a lot of,
cobwebs.
a lot of rediscovery. So yeah, primarily we're working on the third book. I think more like kind of high level, generally speaking, what I'm working on, I have 2 solo projects I'm working on. One is a contemporary fantasy ghost story, and one is a sci-fi sapphic Robin Hood in space story.
I'm deciding right now, today, I've been working on one that's kind of like, what if the Music Man actually took place in like the Yukon Gold Rush, but with magic? I'm working on the pitch, and then we.
Those can be different. I mean, I'm still working on the one for mine, so like I totally get that. But that sounds pretty good. Like that is intriguing. So
I'm delighted to hear it. It's sort of, you know, like the con man comes to the small town, but you know, I think gold rushes and boom towns are a prime place for snake oil salesmen, so it kind of fits. And then I'm also working on, I have my solo debut novel is coming out in April 2026, and it's a fantasy heist, and it's set up to kind of, it ends satisfactorily, but like you could have another book. And
That's
so
the way to do it.
I've also been dabbling a little bit with a sequel to see if that's something I want to work on now or at all. So yeah, it's fun. It's like, it feels like a hug to hang out with those characters some more. So yeah.
And so you guys co-write the one set of books. You got your solo books. Do you guys help each other with the other books, or do you kind of try and stay away from each other for those?
I don't know that I can stay away.
Okay.
I mean, this is a relationship of codependency here.
Well, okay, what I would say is I feel like you and I get to a certain point and then ask each other for
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
Like, I think I may have had most of a draft.
You did, yeah.
Or no, I had a half draft before you read anything of Flightless, the heist, and then now you're getting ready to send me what you've got of your ghost story, because there's like, you know.
It's one of those things where like I work by myself until I'm so close to it that I can't see
Yeah.
what the like things are that I need to be paying attention to anymore. And so that's the point where I think any writer can kind of call in an alpha reader and be like, help, what is this mess? And just, you know, just by the nature of us working together so much, Maria's my default alpha reader.
I like to throw it at you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is because I know the type of feedback Marie provides, and so I can tell, okay, this is the type of feedback I need right now. Whereas other places I might be like, this is probably something I can figure out for myself.
Yeah, I know your writing style well, you know mine well, and I think we're also each other's like ideal readers. Like we genuinely enjoy the types of genres and types of stories the other person writes.
Yeah.
So it is like, oh, I really like this, and like that probably means most of your readers will like this too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we also know each other's strengths and weaknesses really well, so we can
It's
kind of
true.
like be like, oh, okay, like it makes sense that this is the part where you're struggling a little bit. Here are some ideas. We don't really mind if we're prescriptive with one another,
Yeah.
which is something that is you have to be careful of with people who don't know your writing as well. So
I was going to say, since you guys have worked together so much, you kind of know what it is that they want to portray, and you know what she wants to portray, and so you can be a little more prescriptive with that, because you're like, you're not going to take her off on the, you want to write about clowns now, or something like that, like snake oil clowns.
Interesting.
I do not know what you're going for.
I sense a spin-off series.
It's early, you know, I can go anyway.
Suddenly a horror. It's suddenly a horror.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So we have. What challenges has your work in progress been providing for you recently?
Oh lordy.
You may pick just one. You don't have to go with all of them.
So for the book we're writing together, or for our solo pieces?
Pick either one.
Okay.
I will give you freedom of choice.
Great. Love that. Love that for me. I think so. For my solo projects, the biggest challenge right now is the pulling off the shelf, trying to remind myself what it was I fell in love with about the projects initially,
Yeah.
and then like teasing that thread out and creating a plan for moving forward after a long time away from the project.
Yeah.
So it's just like that refamiliarization. Wow, that's a hard word.
So many
So many
syllables.
syllables. That process of just getting into it again, and then this is actually kind of connected to the co-writing. It's very hard for me to work on multiple projects at the same time. So I have very limited blocks to work on solo things right now. So like this is a nice container. We're on a week-long cruise that is designed for writers. And so it's like, this is the time to work on my solo project. When we get off the ship and go home, it's gonna be back into third book of the trilogy mode. So I have to put those things back on a shelf. So I think for me, one of the big challenges right now is being forced to prioritize my projects. And some of those projects are on a deadline, so I don't have a choice in how I prioritize them.
Deadlines can be very nice.
Yes.
They can also be a pain.
Yes, correct. Yes.
So is that you're not working on the co-writing at all on the cruise?
Not on the cruise,
And then-
no.
Okay.
We didn't actually discuss that, but that's just what
It
just
just
happened.
kind of
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, it just
You
happened.
don't have to talk anymore. It's just like psychically communicating.
You're not wrong. Like, it's not wrong.
So are you working on your solo project on
Yeah.
the boat too? Or
Yeah,
The boat, the ship. I'm supposed to call it a ship.
The-
It's okay.
Yes, the floating city. Yeah, and I think another big challenge, going back to the book we just finished, I think is because it's a second in a series, so we'd never done that before. And now we're doing third in a series, which I'm sure will have its own unique challenges, but I think we're early and starry-eyed in that one. But for the second one, it was like trying to figure out like how many new cans of worms do you open, how many do you start closing, so that you're not just opening for 2 whole books and then the third book feels really compacted and crunched. So I think that was tough. And also it's a decent sized cast, so just like trying to juggle that without it feeling overwhelming, but also like how do you have early pages that like isn't super confusing for somebody who's wandering into book 2, but also is not super boring for somebody who remembers book 1. So that was hard to thread that needle, and we rewrote the beginning of that book a number of times.
Yeah.
So, but now it's done.
And it's coming out. Yay!
Yay!
Is it a big relief when you get to hand it over to the publisher and you're like, I don't have to worry about this anymore?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would think so, but like.
It's like you get this like, and they're like, all right, on to the next one.
Yeah. I imagine some people have like but there was something else I wanted to pitch.
always.
You guys are able to kind of just.
No, there have definitely been a few additional revisions that
Okay.
happened
Yeah.
since we handed over to the publisher. Not a lot,
Yeah.
but there have been a few things where we're like, actually,
Yeah.
take that back for a second. But generally speaking, that's a point at which we're like, okay, 90% of our focus is shifting over to the next book and marketing the one that's coming out, which a different part of the brain needs to activate for that.
Fabulous. I love that. Okay, and then what challenges has your life provided for your works in progress? So what things in your life have been getting in the way of you being as productive as you'd like to be?
Take this one first.
Again, how long do you have? No. I mean, it's the usual stuff, right? Like work is a big one. So in my current situation, so Jess mentioned we had a business together, and that has largely wound down. You're completely out of it pretty much at this point. And I mean, I have like a few clients just to kind of keep some income coming in on that front. But that's been a content marketing company, and I have found that content marketing requires creative energy for me in the same way that writing books does. And so I've been trying, like I've been experiencing some burnout with it, and also just kind of feeling like something new. And so I'm slowly transitioning out of content marketing as my primary job and just have like a few little things that I'm doing still in that area with some clients I really like, which is lovely. I like everybody I'm working with, which is great. But that alone is, wasn't quite enough, and I also wanted health insurance. So
Important.
just American problems. And so I was really fortunate, and I got a part-time job at my university. So so I'm actually now shifting into a new career with that. But as a result of all of that, I think I'm at sort of 8 to 10 jobs, depending on how you count them.
Wow. Yeah.
And so it's just a lot of juggling. It's a lot of context switching. And that's been really the biggest thing is, just long work weeks. You cannot fit it all into 40 hours. But my life is fairly simple otherwise. Like I don't have children, and I don't tend to travel tons and tons, things like that. So I'm making it work. But I think that's it. Just the burnout, the career shift journey, and just like long work hours and context switching. That's the main stuff. Just
the normal
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Just the usual.
How about you? The exact same thing?
Similar, but I think different in that. Similar in that, like, there never seems to be enough time. So I do not have 8 to 9 jobs, but I do have a wife, and we do move a lot, and we just about a year ago had to pick up and move across the country. My wife is in academia and does like 2-year contracts. And so we moved from California to Michigan, and her contract in Michigan will be over in a few months. Then we'll move to who knows where. We don't know. We won't know until probably a few months ahead of time.
But it's so stressful.
She's like, I don't have to do it, but like,
she's like, I have 9 jobs, but you have like.
That's worse.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm
moving.
so type A.
Moving is one of the 5 major life events.
Yes.
You know, and
Yeah.
to
You're
do
like,
that
why
every
not
2
just do
years.
that?
Yeah, all the time. So it makes it hard to feel really grounded in a routine. And I found kind of some ways around that. Being in a co-writing relationship is actually a huge benefit to that because it comes with built-in body doubling. So even though the timing is terrible for Marie,
It's fine. I just live on East Coast time,
Yeah.
even though I live in Mountain time.
like we
It's
meet before my day job work day for about 2 hours almost every weekday and work on our stories. And we've already talked about how when the series we're working on is finished, we're going to continue doing that for our solo projects because we have carved out a time that allows us to like silence the noise a little bit and like this is our writing time. And it's not at the time I would ideally necessarily choose, but like it works. The habit is established. But yeah, life is busy and it's really hard to carve out time. And so I'm mostly clinging to what we have found and been like, well, this works. I'm just going to keep doing it regardless of where I end up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just maybe the times will get better if you end up somewhere that's
yeah.
closer.
Like moving back west is high on my list.
Are
of
we at
demands.
least staying within the United States, or is there like chance of?
You know, there are opportunities internationally.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
my day job prevents me. Thankfully I work remotely, so most of the moving is not an issue. But moving internationally for my day job would be a little bit more complicated. There are a few places where it might work, but I think the odds are that we will remain at least in the United States. So
Time zone can only get
yeah,
so
yeah,
bad.
we can only spread apart so far. I won't move to the Atlantic time zone, I promise.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Because I can handle, you know, what it is, but we start getting to like 4 a.m. or something, and then it's not. That means I go to bed at 6. Like that's
excessive.
I'm used to being like grandma hours, but that's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll also say too to that question, which if Marie wants, she can speak to this a little too. In terms of like challenges that get in the way of writing, we're kind of talking about day-to-day challenges. Like, well, I guess moving isn't day-to-day, but like the threat of moving is kind of day-to-day.
For you, I feel like it happens enough. Like,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
happens enough that it's sort of always in the back of my head, like
is, yeah.
planning and stuff.
Yeah.
But there have also been, especially in the writing of book 2 of the series, there have been some major life upheavals for both of us in terms of like losses in family and things like that. And the book itself actually grapples a lot with the idea of like grief and identity and like who you are when things that are massively disruptive to your sense of stability happen. So it was interesting to be writing this book when we were also having similar upheavals.
Probably made it a better book.
Probably made it a better
Yeah.
book. It absolutely made it a better book. And also made it a much longer writing process. It took us a really long time to get book 2 to a place where it was finished, and that's because we had those other things kind of tucked in that time period.
Yeah. But hopefully that's settled.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, so what is one, for each of you, you can each have one piece of advice that you think our viewers should consider when they are doing their writing?
That's a good question. Silence falls. None of us know anything.
That's fine.
No, it's a good question.
I have one.
Go for
You're
it.
thinking.
Yeah, I have like several. I'm trying to like put them together.
Well, maybe
into-
I'm bending this as one of yours, so
Yeah,
it'll
go
slice
for it.
off. Because we share a brain.
She's taking
Um,
it. She's taking it.
I think writing community is so valuable. It's valuable for critique. It's valuable for getting recommendations on what to read. It's valuable for just body doubling. It's valuable for cheering each other on, and for just finding ways to help each other through the really challenging times of writing, right? Like, you know, and it doesn't even have to be major things like, you know, big losses or moves. It can be things like, okay, I've put out my 100th query on this and I'm starting to doubt my story, or like whatever the thing is, you know, like, or just like, I haven't had the desire or time to write in X amount of time. Am I no longer a writer? Like those things that come up, these sort of like existential questions to just like, yeah, to be a writer, I think, is to grapple with one's emotions and with one's sense of identity in a powerful way, and like not having to do that alone, I think is really important, because I think we're all there at some point, so we get it for each other.
Now, so we're not all down at the same time.
Right,
Somebody else
exactly.
is up when you're down.
And like, I do think that there are writing communities that are not so supportive. So I would say like, not just community, but like supportive community.
I feel like mine is a little bit of a contradiction, and it builds off of what Marie was saying a little. So I would say trust yourself as a writer, and also leave your ego at the door. So, and what I mean by that is you know best what story you want to tell. And you know best your lived experience. And you know best probably when something feels like it's working or not. So like, pay attention to that. And also, part of being a reader is getting feedback. And sometimes it's getting feedback from people further along in the journey, and sometimes it's getting feedback from people who have seen a lot of the things that you are trying to do that may or may not be working. And I think learning to receive critique and fold it into your work, and do so in a way that doesn't feel completely like you're going to crumble into dust is a skill that a lot of writers struggle with. Which is valid. Like for a lot of people, you know, especially the first time they critique, it's like kind of like ripping off a little chunk of your soul and being like, "Here, what do you think of it?" And it's hard because there isn't really just like a, well, you do this and then it hurts less. But building that skill and building the experience of being able to take feedback in a graceful way, partially coming back to what you said about finding like a supportive community. Like if you give your piece to someone and they're like, "It sucks, why are you doing this?" That is not a you problem. That is, you found a community that is not supportive. And if you find community where they are giving like actual reasonable feedback rather than just insults, like it is helpful to learn how to take that feedback and apply that feedback and have the end goal of, how do I make this the best story it can possibly be? This is something Marie and I get asked a lot as co-authors is, how do you not kill each other? Like how, because for someone who's only written solo, the idea of pulling someone else in on something that they've framed out in their brain feels very like,
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Get off my lawn.
Yeah. And the answer to that has always been, well, it's not about us. Yeah. It's about the story, and it's about creating the best story possible. And sometimes I'm right, and sometimes Marie's right. And like, it doesn't matter which one of us is right, or if it's some mishmash of the two. It matters what actually like is the most meaningful adjustment to create a better story.
And
This is so beautiful.
and like, you've taught me that like it is possible to argue in a way that actually strengthens the relationship more, like, and I did not know that was possible, but I think that's key for co-authors, because you're gonna argue about the story and you're gonna have disagreements, and like, yeah, I mean, it builds trust when it's done in a way that like is actually still respectful of the other person, and is like, okay, but let's put the ideas aside for now and just talk about, like, let's re-ground ourselves and like, what is the story we're trying to tell together and what's in service of that.
That was a very kind way to call me argumentative.
You are not argumentative.
I tease. I jest.
What if I argue about how argumentative you are?
I cede my position.
All right.
Yay, co-writers.
It's fine.
Okay, so that we have those are all of the questions I have, but I
Cool.
feel like we've gotten a lot of really good stuff out of this.
good.
And advice, and it was so cool finding out more stuff about Animorphs. 'Cause I just read the books, you know, when I was a kid, and I took them, and you're like, and I know that the author does this and that, and I'm just like, okay, yes.
Legit, if you have ever any free time, reread like the first 22 books, 23 books or so. Like
I mean, they're like this
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
They probably only take me an hour and a half.
yeah,
on
it is not a huge time commitment, and they at least the beginnings of the series very much are like
It's
worth revisiting.
they went through the David books
Yeah.
and then they stopped.
After that it gets a little dicey.
They stopped.
They stopped. They got ghostwriters after
okay,
those, and so
yeah.
like it's kind of hit and miss. But that first like solid chunk is really good, and I
Whew.
stand by what I said that we have turned this into an Animorphs podcast. So
It's been
Video show.
bookended.
yeah,
I love it.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
this has been wonderful. Thank you.
Yay, interview! All right. So thank you for joining us today for this kind of different style video. And if you like this video, go ahead and like this video. And we'll see if there's going to be more of them. So subscribe and stick around so you can find out. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.